Alright, so today I'm going to be doing an oil change on my Dodge 2500 Cummins 4x4 2005 model. Has a G56 6-speed transmission. I'm going to be using Royal Purple, and I'm actually going to be putting in an extra quart. Got 7, recommend 6. Done a lot of reviews and research. They said it really helps quiet down the gears, shifts better, everything. So that's why I got 7 here. So first step I did was I drained it, pulled the plug, got it dripping down there. And as far as filling it back up, I totally skipped the fill plug on the transmission and fill it from the top. So I already pulled out the shifter right here, fairly straightforward. This is the center console. Just has 3 bolts, one here, one here, one here. You can take loose your shifter boot and your 4x4 shifter, and then this pops out. Then the shifter is right there on top of the transmission. You got 4 bolts on top here that you remove, and this pulls off. That way it's easier to fill. Also on these G56s, the factory seal is notorious for ripping. See, mine was torn. Some of my shifter's all gross and dirty. I'm about to clean it up, so I'm gonna show another fix for that as well while I'm doing this transmission fluid change, and then we'll go inside and see what the rest is looking like. Also, a real quick heads up, the drain plug is a 14mm Allen. I have these cool sockets, really good for draining it, so just wanted to let you know that's what's needed to pull the drain plug on the bottom of the transmission. Alright, so here's the inside of the truck now with everything removed. Just kind of a little heads up. There also was another shifter cover that I removed. This is actually on top of the shifter. Once you remove the center console, a few simple bolts gets that out. You might have to use like a razor knife to kind of cut your carpet a little bit to make it easier to get out, but you won't see it because it's all under the center console. And back to that seal I was talking about, fix that I'm going to use. A lot of guys recommended, it makes good sense, is put a CV boot on top of the shifter instead of that factory seal. Makes a lot of sense, a lot tougher, a lot stronger. You won't have to worry about it tearing. I'm going to use a couple of hose clamps to tighten it up on there. And here soon, once I get everything cleaned up, I'm going to dump my 7 quarts of Royal Purple inside the transmission, and then button everything back up and see how she runs. And for the CV boot, this is the one that I'm using, the part number. I actually got it from O'Reilly's. I might be able to order online, but it's just like a universal one. I'm actually going to do a little trimming on it, cut one of the larger bottom rings off and one of the top to kind of get it a little better fit, and then use the hose clamps to seal it all up real nice and tight. Alright, so here we have the finished product. It's not the prettiest, but it's definitely going to work really well. Did a little trimming to kind of shorten it up where I could. Clamps on top and bottom. Cleaned up my shifter best I could. So now I'm about to just put in all the drain plugs and fill it back up. Alright, so I just finished torquing my drain plug with the 14mm socket to 42 foot-pounds according to the recommended factory specs. So now all I have left to do is dump in all 7 of these oil bottles. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started. Dump it right in here in the top and fill her on up. 7 to go. So going through the top, so I can 1, overfill it, and 2, much easier than using that fill plug, which is right by the exhaust. So 1 down, 6 more to go. Alright, so I have all 7 quarts dumped inside the transmission. All I have left to do now is put my shifter back in place with my new boot setup. I'm going to put a small bead of a gasket maker just on the edge of the shifter base and the top of the transmission here, just to make sure I have a super good seal. And once I get that on there, we'll show you buttoning up the rest, get the console back in, and then go for a test drive. So here's everything put back together. Center console in place, shifters, shifter boots, ready to go. Can't really tell a big difference right now. but good to go for a test drive and see how she feels. So I just got back from my first test drive with the Royal Purple in the transmission. I will say that it shifts amazing now, much easier to get into reverse. The gear noise is quieter. I would highly recommend to anybody with a G56 standard transmission to add the 7th quart and go with the synthetic, because it really makes a difference. Thanks for watching.